Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about egg quality. But first, I just want to say that there are so many misconceptions about egg quality, and that has a lot to do with the super and supreme focus on AMH and FSH. AMH just speaks to the quantity of eggs that you have. And FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, speaks to how eggs respond to stimulation. But both of these have nothing to do with the quality of your eggs. And this is an important thing to remember, because if you think that AMH and FSH and your numbers may not be ideal, that means your egg quality is bad, you are incorrect. So today we're going to talk about the things that actually do matter to your egg quality. Now, before we begin, I'm Bianca. I am a fertility diet and lifestyle coach. I'm a professionally trained chef, and I'm also a nutritionist. And I help people get and stay pregnant after multiple losses, after unexplained infertility, because I believe when you make your body baby friendly, that is when your egg quality improves. That is when your ovarian health and endometrial health improves. And all of this has nothing to do with age. Just had to get that out of the way. Your body is an ecosystem, and your eggs live in that ecosystem. And so to think that age is the only factor that affects your egg quality is completely ignoring the factors that actually do matter. So one of the things you're going to start hearing about a lot when it comes to fertility is mitochondria. Mitochondria refers to the energy in the cells. Now, if you have bad mitochondrial function, what happens is that will affect your egg quality, because eggs are cells. Now, if you work on your body's mitochondria, therefore the energy in your body, then you actually give life and energy to your egg quality. And again, mitochondria goes down as we age, but that doesn't need to be the case. You can boost your mitochondria with things like N-acetylcysteine, which is a supplement, CoQ10, which is amazing for egg quality as far as mitochondria is concerned. So again, this has to do with age, but only because we don't think about it. But if we are concerted in our efforts to improve the energy in our body, aka our mitochondria, that will have a knock-on effect positively to our eggs. Now, the next thing is oxidative stress. If you are dealing with a lot of oxidative stress by virtue of the diet that you eat, maybe you eat a lot of processed foods, maybe you drink a lot, maybe you take a lot of medication, maybe you're just hyper stressed from work, maybe your blood sugar is imbalanced. I mean, there's so many things that can cause oxidative stress in the body. And that will cause egg quality issues. That will definitely affect your eggs, because if your body is stressed, we can then assert that your eggs are probably not in a good condition either. That being said, if your body is well balanced, not a lot of oxidative stress, you're living an anti-oxidation lifestyle, we could then, venture a guess that your egg quality is also probably pretty good. Now, the next thing is inflammation. I say all the time, I've said it once, if I've said it 1,000 times, inflammation will be the number one block to you getting and staying pregnant, certainly if you're over 35, especially if you're over 40. And if you are doing things that cause inflammation as the result, this is going to affect your egg quality. And this is why when you see people doing rounds and rounds and rounds of IVF and it's not working and their egg quality just continues to diminish and they wonder what's wrong with them, it's the fact that the heavy battery of drugs and things like IVF can cause extreme inflammation in the body, because it's a lot for the body to take. Now, that isn't to say that IVF isn't a beautiful marvel of science that we should be happy that we have. It's just saying that if you go into this situation ill-prepared from a body perspective, and you're just looking at AMH and FSH and they're like, you gotta do IVF this minute or else you're gonna miss the boat, that is actually going to negatively impact your egg quality. Instead, do the work to improve the energy of your eggs, or just your body in general. Do the work of reducing oxidative stress, lower your inflammation, and that is what is going to be meaningful to the quality of your eggs. Quantity, we can't do anything about, unfortunately. You can't make eggs. We're born with the amount of eggs that we have. But where your control comes in is the fact that you can control the quality of your eggs. You can have amazing egg quality well into your 40s. And I say it once, and again, I'll say it many times. All we need is one egg. Now, we all know that hormones are the cornerstone of fertility, but a lot of people just think it's estrogen and progesterone. While those are very important, those aren't the only hormonal influences that affect our fertility and especially our egg quality. The first one is insulin. If you have consistent blood sugar issues and therefore insulin issues, you will notice a diminish in your ovarian quality, your egg quality, your just body quality, because metabolic health, aka blood sugar, insulin, that affects you from top to tail. How your brain functions, how you digest food, what is happening with your heart rate, what is happening with all different things. And if your blood sugar is consistently poorly balanced, and if you aren't diabetic, this is also something you have to consider, because how you'll know that your blood sugar is kind of wonky is you never sleep through the night. A lot of people think going to the bathroom in the middle of the night just has to do with your bladder, but unfortunately it's probably your blood sugar. Because what happens when you have a blood sugar event is that your cortisol spikes. Cortisol is the wake up hormone. It's not some demon that it's been made out to be, but when it's imbalanced, it's definitely demonic. Now, when you are in bed and sleeping, if your blood sugar goes down or goes up, you are going to have a cortisol response. Your body is going to get confused and it is going to think it's the morning. Cortisol is what we release in the morning to help us get out and have some gumption for the day. Now, if you are releasing cortisol in the middle of the night, you will wake up and your body will try and function as it does in the morning, going to the bathroom, to-do list running through your head. Now, this isn't just bad for you being energized the next day. This is terrible for your egg quality, your ovarian health, just everything. So understanding how to balance your blood sugar is crucial to your egg quality journey. Again, if you are trying to get pregnant over 35, over 40, these things matter a little bit more than they do for someone who's 25. That's just the case. And again, it's because our bodies have been on this earth longer, and so they've taken more hits. And if you are continuing to hit it every single meal in the middle of the night with blood sugar inconsistencies, you can see where the issues will arise. Now, other hormones that we don't really think about when it comes to egg quality are thyroid hormones. So again, free T3, reverse T3, T4, thyroid antibodies. You want to make sure that you get all of your thyroid baselines checked when you are getting tested for those things. Not everyone goes into preconception with all the testing. That is completely individual. That being said, if you've had thyroid issues in the past, if you sweat a lot at night, that can be an indication of low thyroid function. If you have low body temperature, that can also be an issue with your thyroid. This is something that needs to be resolved before you go into trying to conceive a child. Honestly, I think that all of this rush and this push that we make women do, it's like, oh my God, you have low ovarian reserve. We got to get into IVF. We got to do, it's like, whoa. Let's figure out what's going on with the quality of the body and therefore the quality of the eggs, so that when we do intervene or we do start trying or whatever the path to baby looks like for you, that your body is baby friendly. Worrying about estrogen and progesterone, that matters, but insulin, thyroid hormones, and also cortisol are very important metrics to understand. Cortisol, again, you have a cortisol response generally from something that is going on. So when you balance your blood sugar, you are eliminating a cortisol response based on that. When you remove some of the emotional inflammation in your life, you remove the cortisol response from that. So then when cortisol does happen in your body, it's natural. It's what's supposed to happen. Cortisol is low at night so you can fall asleep. It's high in the morning so that you can wake up. That's what we want. It's also high when you need to run for your life or fight for it, truly. That's when you want cortisol in the game. But if it's just, oh, I ate this thing incorrectly and now I have a cortisol response, or Linda from accounting is on me again, I have a cortisol response, that is where a good thing goes bad. When it comes to your egg quality, nutrition and nutrients matter so much, it cannot be overstated. How you eat and what you eat matters tremendously to what's going on with your egg quality. And if you are deficient in certain things, that will impact your egg quality even more. So having a diet that is high in antioxidants will absolutely benefit your egg quality. On the contrary, if you eat things that cause oxidative stress, processed foods, processed foods, processed foods. If you eat those types of foods, you are causing oxidative stress by way of how you eat. It is the number one control factor that we have when it comes to conception. We cannot control our age. We cannot control our ovarian reserve. We can't control that. That's just what is. But what we can control is the quality by virtue of what nutrients we give our body. Making sure to focus on antioxidants, berries, citrus, things like matcha, eating just things like kale, romaine, eating a whole food diet will help you. That's bright, that has all of nice variety. That is going to help you to have better egg quality because you are feeding your body the things that are going to suppress the bad guys. If you are eating an antioxidant diet rich in lots of colorful fruits and vegetables and proteins and good fats, etc., if you are eating those things, oxidative stress can't hold a candle to you. And that's a very important thing to think. It's like if we don't want oxidative stress, what do? We eat an antioxidant diet rich antioxidant rich diet. You know what I'm trying to say. Now, another thing that is often missing or deficient is healthy fats. So healthy fats by virtue of supplementation. I always say when you are taking omega fatty acids, you want to take the right one for you. The right one for the mom, so you as the egg carrier, baby carrier, is a high EPA omega-3 fatty acid. This type of omega-3 fatty acid helps the body withstand stress, helps the body sort of bounce back and be resilient to things like stress and inflammation, helps to lower those things. Now, high DHA, which is very commonly seen used, that is when you want to take once you are pregnant because it's going to help build your baby's brain. It's good for neurological function, things like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, building your baby's brain. And so having the right kind of fats in your diet is going to matter. But this also brings me to another point. I know that the lore around seed oils, it seems like people are ringing the alarm and it's not that big of a deal. Remember what they told us about red dye? It was fine to eat, no problem. They took it out of makeup in the 90s, but they said we could consume it, no problem. And now it's getting pulled out of all the foods because it's terrible. You haven't even been able to use it in Europe for forever. Now, I feel the same way about seed oils. You can come for me in the comments. I'm happy to have a conversation about it. But if you are eating those fats and thinking that they are contributing to the good fats in your body, you are misled. You just are. These fats are deodorized. They are rinsed. They are not natural. They are processed foods in a lot of ways. And so this will affect your body because we need fat for so many things. One, fat helps to lower inflammation, but the good fats. Fats help to protect our cells. There is a thin layer of fat over every single cell in our body. It is called the myelin sheath, and it is made up of fat. And when we don't get the right kinds of fats, like ones in tallow, butter, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil, salmon, etc. When we are relying on seed oils for that protection, it actually doesn't give that protection. So then we are starting to disrupt that beautiful lining that is protecting our cells, aka our eggs. Now, I would rather be so wrong about this, but I don't think that I am. So when I'm working with my clients, helping them get and stay pregnant, we eliminate seed oils for most of their food. Like, look, if you're going out to a restaurant, you're going out with friends, like you want to live your life. But at home, when you are cooking for yourself, if you are trying to prepare your body for pregnancy, you are not eating seed oils as your main source of fat because you're not getting what you need to get from those fats. And they can actually cause inflammation and cause issues with ovarian health. And again, you're going to start hearing about it more. They try to convince you people are wrong, and then they are like, well, maybe those people were right. I stand firmly on the side of caution when it comes to seed oils. If you're not trying to get pregnant and you're just living your life, have at her. I'm not talking to you. But if you are trying to protect your egg quality, you are over 35, you are over 40, you are trying to get pregnant, those fats have to go. How you live your life matters just as much as what and how you eat. Your lifestyle factors matter more than I think a lot of people give credence to. If you go to a fertility clinic, they say, do you smoke, do you drink? And that's kind of it. But there's so much more to the lifestyle piece. I always say, if you are someone that sprays Febreze all over your house, if you are plugging in those Glade plugins, if you use something like Tide, if you clean with very, very chemically products, that is having a very, very negative effect on your liver function. And that is is clogging up and congesting your liver. And that is bad for your egg quality. You want your liver to be functioning optimally. It already has enough work to do. It has to take out any of the toxins that are in the foods that we eat, the air that we breathe. We don't want to be adding to that. I see all the time on TikTok, people are like, this is how you get rid of smells in the garbage. And it's like this battery of concoctions of like powdery things and, bubbles and microplastics. And it's like, just empty the garbage and clean it out. Like, we have to start understanding that all of these things that are in our house, in our air, that is not good for us. It just simply isn't good for us. If you absolutely need an air freshener, get some essential oil, get a diffuser, it works beautifully. That's what I use in my home. But you want to make sure that you are lowering your toxin exposure. You're not holding food in plastic. You are not drinking out of plastic. You are not putting like creams and things all over your body that you haven't really checked what's in those things. Fragrance, not great. If you love perfume, again, essential oils, there's a few perfume companies out there that are clean, but again, we have to minimize our toxin exposure because that is causing problems with the liver, and that will cause problems with hormonal balance, with the excretion of toxins and excess hormones and excess sugars. Like, we need to make sure our liver is healthy. Again, I've heard many people say, oh, well, the liver is self-cleaning, but then why do I have so many clients coming to me with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? And as soon as we clean up their lifestyle and clean up their diet, that condition goes away. It's because the liver does need some tending. When we were created as human beings in human vessels, we were not created in this world with Febreze, with Glade, with Tide, with all of these different things. And so we have to make sure that our body has resilience to those things, and we remove the toxins that we can, and we boost our liver in the ways that we can for the situations that we cannot control. Simply put, I refuse to believe that the liver, we just leave it and we don't do anything to care for it. I'm so sorry. That's just simply an untruth. And a lot of the people who are like saying in the comments, well, you don't know anything about the liver. I would like you to show your face. I would like you to show me your health. I would like you to show me your day in the life. And I can guarantee you it's probably not one that I would want to live. I'm just being honest. Now, sleep. Sleep is also very important. Again, if you are struggling with your sleep, you're waking up every single night in the middle of the night to pee, we need to start thinking about your blood sugar, because you want to get good, solid 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Everybody's a bit different, but that's the window generally for women. Women need more sleep than men. Our bodies are doing more over the month, over our lives, and so we need more sleep. And when you are not sleeping well, that can increase hormones like ghrelin, that makes you overeat, that makes you crave sugar, cortisol can be up. It's a whole thing. So you want to make sure that your sleep quality is good. Good sleep quality, good egg quality, other things as well. But if you do everything right, but you sleep like garbage, you need to focus on that. Now, this brings me to my other point, which is exercise. A lot of people exercise and, they exercise so intensely. They want to be rinsed. They're like, that's what helps me sleep. And it's like the type of exercise that you do and the intensity with which you approach it can either be really good for your fertility or really bad for your fertility. And what I mean by that is if you already sort of have like a higher baseline of cortisol, you're waking up in the middle of the night to pee, you're hungry after meals, maybe an hour after, there's blood sugar stuff going on, there's cortisol stuff going on. If you work out super intensely, you are going to deplete your body first and foremost, but also you're raising your cortisol up to a point that it cannot recover from. And that is bad because then your cortisol stays up and that leads to inflammation, and inflammation will block your conception efforts, especially if you're over 35, especially if you're over 40. And so you want to make sure that the exercise that you do is actually exercise that's going to make you feel better and actually fortify your body, give you the resilience, give you all of the benefits you want if you want to stay lean and stay fit. But it shouldn't be so intense that it knocks you down. You need a nap after. You're so tired you can barely move. Like, that's not the kind of exercise we want to have. You have to remember that the body seeks safety and security before it does something like being pregnant. You are very vulnerable when you are pregnant. You're not really in a position to fight. You're not really in a position to do super intense things like you were before. That is a position of vulnerability, and your body knows that. And getting pregnant when your body already feels unsafe, again, will prove challenging. Again, if you're one of those people that got pregnant the most stressful time of your life, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other people that are maybe finding difficulty, but you have a very high stress life, high emotional inflammation, high body inflammation. All of that needs to be addressed before you try to conceive. And I'll give you an example. For myself, I'm not trying to conceive, but I was dealing with exceptional inflammation. I had insulin resistance. I also had really bad eczema from my neck to my ankles, everywhere in between. My periods were wonky. It was nuts. But I was working out so intensely, like 6 to 7 days a week, because I just wanted to stay lean. The pandemic happened. And I'm like, I refused to get heavy in the pandemic. Like I was born in, I'm a child of the 90s. So it's like, I get it. You get it. Diet culture. That being said, I went to a naturopath and she said, I don't want you to work out for a year. I want you to walk. You can maybe use a weighted vest, stretchy yoga, but nothing intense. She's like, that's all I wanted you to do for a year, because we have to lower this inflammation, because that is also creating issues with your insulin. It's also creating issues with your cortisol and your blood sugar, which is making your eczema bad. After that year was up, not only was I leaner than I was before, my eczema went away, my insulin resistance reversed, all because I pulled back, all because I lowered my cortisol and therefore my inflammation. So I know for some of you that are like exercise girlies, it's like a part of your identity and you don't want to let that go. I know that that can feel really scary to like not work out for 6 months or 3 months. You think you're going to get fat? You won't. You will probably end up actually leaning out. But report back. So as I mentioned at the top, AMH and FSH are used to sort of qualify someone's fertility. And while they can be good diagnostics for certain situations like IVF, IUI, egg freezing, they do not determine whether you can get pregnant, whether you can stay pregnant. AMH just refers to the quantity of eggs that you have. FSH refers to the follicle's ability to take on and their response to stimulation. Both of those have nothing to do with egg quality. Egg quality is about your cellular health. Egg quality is about your body health and what is going on with you from head to toe. And so again, when you go into fertility conversations at a clinic, they will try and make it seem like your egg quality is bad because your egg quantity is low. They will try and say your egg quality is bad because they aren't responding to stimulation. But we can improve what your body does as far as its response to stimulation. We can improve the quality of your eggs because it's cellular. It comes down to what's going on in your body. And again, because you have low ovarian reserve doesn't mean you have no ovarian reserve. Like that's crazy. Many of us go into menopause with over 1,000 eggs. So again, it's not that you have no eggs. That's very unlikely. But what we need to improve is the quality of the stimulation and your body's response to it, and also the quality of the eggs and the follicles that are being stimulated. There's so much control, and that should make you feel at ease, truly. It should make you feel like, oh, there are control factors that I have. Okay, yes, I might have a lower quantity of eggs, but I can make those eggs the top-notch quality, and that is going to help you pursue pregnancy, whether you go to a fertility clinic or whether you're trying at home in your very own bed. I just want you to remember that you are not a number. You are a person, you are a human being, you are a vessel that is trying to bring forth life. And when you edify yourself to that place, you rise to it. And so instead of feeling downtrodden by some of these numbers, you realize you are not a number. You are not a number. You are a human being. Now, the things that you can do is focus on a nutrient-dense diet that is free of processed foods or very, very, very minimally processed foods, because that's going to affect your gut health, your blood sugar, your liver health. Again, your body being baby friendly. You also want to do targeted supplementation. I have worked with women that have like a closet full of every single supplement you can think of, and that's overkill. Honestly, you don't need to do that much, but you do need to understand where you're coming from so that you can understand what supplements are going to help take you where you want to go. You also want to reduce toxin exposure. Like you want to make sure that Febreze is not in your house. You are using products that rate really well on the Environmental Working Group Skin Deep app. So it's like a 0 to a 3 max. If you've used the app, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, message me in the comments and I'll share. But you want to make sure that your toxin exposure is low, because then you are releasing that shackle off of your liver, off of your gut, off of your body. And sleep and rest are so important to this. Your body needs to feel safe. It needs to feel nurtured. It needs to feel supported. And when you are burning the candle at both ends and not sleeping and working out super intensely, that tells your body we are not relaxed, we are not safe, we are not nurtured, and it will be very challenging for your body to get into a place of safety in that state. So I always say to my girlies, if you wake up for a 5 a.m. F45 class and your body says no, I simply cannot, don't. Sleep longer. Now, you'll probably get charged for the class. We all know how that works. But sometimes you just got to charge it to the game, okay? And remember that rest is so important to this. When you're thinking about mitochondria and energy and all of these things, when you are depleting your energy because you are just trying to keep up the pace that you were at before, that is not going to help you. You are going into a new season of your life, your preconception phase, and then your conception phase, and then your pregnancy phase. All of that is different from the girlie who likes to go to the gym and be skinny phase. It's just a different time in your life. I really hope that this gives you hope to realize that egg quality doesn't have to do with age. There are women that have better egg quality because of the work that they do at 41 than they do at 27. And again, there's so much control that we have within our bodies that live so far outside of our chronological age, and that's beautiful. And I hope that that gives you hope. So if you like this video, if you felt inspired by it, please comment, please like, please share. I would love for you to subscribe. I'm posting videos all the time because I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel heard. I want you to feel supported. And I also want you to feel all of those from a place of knowledge and empowerment. So to finish, I would love for you to tell me what you're doing for your egg quality. I'll go first. Every day, I make sure to balance my blood sugar at every single meal. Anytime something goes into my mouth, I make sure to think and run through all of the facilities of like, is this going to make sure my blood sugar stays balanced? That's what I'm doing for my egg quality. What are you doing?